Hello again, everyone. Welcome back to Planescape Torment. Alright, let's see if we can talk to this zombie worker next. Okay, nope. Anyone in here? Yeah, there's a few. Nope, can't get anything. Nothing there. Nope, alright. Alright, let's just head on back down then. I did take a quick look, and it took some doing to figure out exactly how I can get the name of that other zombie, and I am not actually sure if I can do so.
Alright.
But we'll see what we can do.
Alright.
Oh, and apparently to get out of here, I need, let's see, what is it? I think one of those. Ah, good, I do still have my severed arm. So it'll be a little complex, and like I said, I don't know if I'll be able to do this. I may have missed an opportunity, but we'll see.
I'm gone.
Why do the Hive thugs never get pissy at me anymore? That's no fun, right? Just because I want to murder them? Alright, I think we want to go to that one. And I think we want to go to over here. Now, I need a little bit more wisdom and a little bit more intelligence to finish up the Zerthamon stuff. Oh, hey, 16 junk. I must have dropped that at some point. Alright, let's talk to you. Dak'kon, can you translate for me? Dak'kon nods. Ask him if he did the tattoos on this dismembered arm I found. Fel examines it for a moment, tracing the patterns with his finger. He then looks up. A series of rebuses form, hazy at first, then come sharply into focus. The arm is yours, the tattoos are mine. One tattoo speaks of a time when your path was shared by 4 others. What did he say, Dak'kon? Dak'kon studies the symbols, but he remains silent. Dak'kon? What is he saying? The arm is yours, the tattoos are his. Did he say anything more than that?
Updated my journal.
Dak'kon is silent for a moment, and suddenly, instinctively, you know Dak'kon is lying to you. He continues on with dead-level tone. The rest of the symbols are not known to me. Why are you lying to me? Dak'kon falls silent again. He does not turn to look at you. He seems to be staring at something leagues away. The symbols... There is no good in knowing the answer to what you ask. Losing patience. I need answers, and you better tell me what you know before I lose my temper. Since when has not knowing the truth of something ever really helped anyone, Dak'kon? The counselor who counsels ignorance betrays his station.
Updated my journal.
Ooh, nice. There is truth in your words. That truth should be known to me. Dak'kon is silent for a moment. Then he turns to you, his eyes hardened. The symbols speak of 4 you have traveled with in the past. Go on. What 4 are these? The symbols swirl before you, and you piece them together. One unloved who loves one who does not love. Oh, that line gives me a headache right there. Also reminds me of a MST3K song. One who does not see what others see and sees what others do not. One who is familiar and bound with duty. One who is a slave, and his chains are words. As you finish translating, the 4 strings seem to form themselves into links, and they merge into a chain. The chain bends until it is a symbol you feel you recognize. What did he say, Dak'kon? Dak'kon isn't even looking at the symbols. The tattoo speaks of 4 minds. One was a woman who loved a man who knew her and knew not love. The other was a blind man who saw things no mortal eye could see. Another was a familiar, a mage's pet, bought and bound. And the last was a slave. Why did you not want to tell me this? The 4 are bound with a symbol that is known to me. What symbol? The symbol sharpens, gaining edges that are almost painful to your eyes. It is Torment. It is that which draws all tormented souls to you. Fel nods at your left arm, at your shoulder. The flesh knows it suffers even when the mind is forgotten, and so you wear the rune always. What did he say, Dak'kon? The symbol is Torment. He says that you have always worn it, for the flesh knows that it suffers, even when the mind does not. Can you tell me anything more about the 4 of the... Can you tell him... Yeah, I mean, this one seems mean, whereas this one not so much. Dak'kon is silent again. I will not speak of it here. Ask when what we speak of will only be for the ears of those that walk with you. Okay. Alright, so I'm not sure which ones of those are... Oh, Tattoo of the Dreams of Essenon. I think that's a new. +1 to save versus spells, +2 to base hit points. This is, I believe, one of them. But I can only use it as a thief. So I could get that one, Tattoo of the Soul, for +2 wisdom. Actually, and I could always get that for Anna or Dak'kon, I think. Justice's Eye. Oh, this tattoo tells of your efforts to help Trist and depicts the arrest of the trial of Byron. Pickett. This tattoo bolsters the eye and mind of the wearer. It allows the wearer to perceive injustices and grant users strength to correct them. +1 to strength isn't bad, but I don't need it right now. Death in Life, Raise Dead. Well, let's see. I could get that. I could also get this, +2 to intelligence. What am I actually using? I've got currently 1 spare slot. +1 to damage with all attacks. And that one increases regeneration rate. Let's go ahead and put that into the quick slot so I can at least use it. What does that one do? Improve strength, eh? Well, that's +1 to wisdom. Oh, grants experience points when invoked. I should probably get that one then. I don't know if I want the -1 to charisma. I don't know if I care about resistance to cold either. I'll think about it a little bit more. I'd like to get more money, because I do want to get some of the armor that's available for Anna and Fall from Grace. Let's get that. I will get more experience points out of it. Wait a second. That... Ah, shoot. That was the wrong one. That's not the one that I wanted. Whoops. Alright. Go through that again. Dak'kon, can you translate for me? Wait a second. I missed something. Dak'kon, what is he saying?
Updated my journal.
There we go. Why are you lying to me?
Updated my journal.
There we go. Okay. Alright, so my mistake. Yeah, I went from 2194 down to 300. Did I have multiple ones selected? Maybe that's what happened. Okay, there we go. Yeah, I must have had a second one selected and I didn't notice it. There we go. Wisdom is 20. Still need to get my intelligence up, but I think we can do that with a cranium rat charm. Yeah. Okay, intelligence is 18, wisdom is 20. Let's go ahead and...
Done.
Let's leave real fast. And we will talk to Dak'kon.
What is your will?
Actually, let's use the Unbroken Circle of Zerthamon. There we go. Let's do this first. Reread the 7th circle. Know that the rising of the people against the Illithid was a thing built upon many turnings. Many were the people who lived and died under Time's blade while the rising was shaped. The rising was shaped upon a slow foundation. Steel was gathered so that it might mark illithid flesh. A means of knowing the movements of the illithids was established. At first weak and confused, then stronger, like a child finding its voice. When the movements were known, then the illithids were observed. In observing them, their ways of the mind were known. When the ways of the illithid were known, many of the people were gathered and taught in secret means to shield their minds and the way to harness their will as weapons. They were taught the scripture of steel, and most importantly, they were given the knowing of freedom. Finish reading the symbols. These things were not learned quickly. The knowing of much of the ways was slow, and in all these things, time's weight fell upon all. From the knowing of one's reflection in a steel blade, to the knowing of submerging the will, to the knowing of seeing itself. All of these things and more the people built upon. In time, they came to know the whole. Maybe I need to actually talk to him about it.
What is your will?
Talk about your teachings. There's a seventh circle. It speaks of time as an ally, not as an enemy. It says that patience can sharpen even the smallest of efforts into a weapon that can strike the heart of an empire. Your victories may be small, but over time, a greater victory may be achieved. Dak'kon is silent for a moment. Will you make this circle known to me? Take the unbroken circle of Zerthamon and unlock the seventh circle. There we go, 2 items, 5,000 experience points. As you take the circle and twist the links, 2 plates slide from the interior and into your hands. You have no idea where they came from, but the unbroken circle still seems intact. The 7th circle remains. Dak'kon watches you silently. There are 2 plates here. Perhaps we should both study them, you and I. Dak'kon is silent for a moment. There is much you have come to know of the circle, and your knowing carries a greater weight than mine. Dak'kon matches your gaze. Know that your path is mine, and it shall come to pass that as you knew the way of Zerthamon from me, I shall know the way of Zerthamon from you. We'll study the plates later. There were other things I would know. Okay, where are the things about, Ah, there we go. When Fel was describing the tattoo on my arm, you said you knew the symbols. The symbols speak of 4 you have traveled with in the past. What 4 are these?
Updated my journal.
The tattoo speaks of 4 minds. One was a woman who loved a man who knew her and knew not love. The other was a blind man who saw things no mortal could see. Another was a familiar, mage's pet, bought and bound. And the last was a slave. And which of them was you, Dak'kon? Were you the slave? 3,000 experience points. Dak'kon is silent for a moment, and then the surface of his blade swims, as if in turmoil. Know that this one owed you a service. In owing this to you, it became as slavery. How did this come to be? Know the tale is long. The matter is between me and the other that was once you. Know that if you hear it, know it shall be a long tale. I would hear it. Upon the rolling plain of limbo, the people shape cities from the chaos with their thoughts. Know that there is no place for a divided mind. Kind of heard that part already. Understand. So you doubted the words. Alright, so that's all he's, so he's told us that part already. What happened to you? As I fell from the walls of Shrak'd'lor, know that myself was broken. My blade was missed, my mind divided. I was adrift upon limbo seas, and I wished to drown. I died for days, my mind awash in division, when death finally came to me. It wore your skin and it had your voice. Me? You asked that I hear you. As Dak'kon says the words, your vision bleeds outwards and a crawling sensation begins to worm its way up through the back of your skull. You feel nauseous for a moment, and your vision is suddenly as chaos, smeared, twisted, and you are someplace else, someplace in the past. Surrender to the memory. Everything around you is in turmoil. Your vision is hazy, swirling, dizzying, all at once. There is mist, pockets of fire, islands of mud, stone, and ice-covered rocks swimming through the plain like fish, impacting and dissolving droplets of water, arcing through the howling air, and lashing your skin like teeth. You choke back your nausea, and you steady yourself. This is the plane of limbo. All is chaos, nothing is stable. You focus on the dying man that lies before you. It is why you have come to this place. Examine the Zerth, see if he still lives. The man is a Githzerai, his body embedded in an earthen pocket that swirls around him. Unconsciously, he has formed a grave from the elements, and though bits of fire and water lick at his face, he does not respond. His hands are ashen, his coal-black eyes focusing on nothing. His emaciated frame speaks of starvation, but you know it is the least of his wounds. It is faith that dealt him the mortal blow. Look for the blade he carries. In his limp left hand is a twisted mass of metal, its surface having melted around his hand like a gauntlet. As you watch, it steams and hisses like a diseased snake. The Githzerai does not seem to be aware of it, but it is that weapon that has brought you here. Dak'kon, Zerth of Shracht Lord, drowning, last wielder of the crotch blade. Know that I have come to you with the words of Zerthamon, carved not in chaos but in stone, carved by the will in an unbroken circle. At the word Zerthamon, Dak'kon's eyes roll in their sockets, and they attempt to focus upon you. With effort, he cracks his mouth to speak, but only a dry hiss emerges. You bring forth the stone from your pack and hold it before him so he can see. Know that the words of Zerthamon inscribed upon this stone are true, and know that your divided mind need be divided no longer. All you must do is take the stone, and you shall know yourself again. Dak'kon's eyes flicker over the unbroken circle of Zerthamon, and for a moment you think he might be too close to death to recognize it. Then the right hand twitches, and he pulls it slowly from its earthen prison. The clumps of earth streaming off it become water in Limbo's chaotic winds. His skeletal hands clutch the stone, like a drowning man, and his eyes flash. Know that I have saved your life, Dak'kon, Zerth of Shracht Lore.
Updated my journal.
Dak'kon's eyes turn from the stone and flicker over you, and he hisses again, too dry for a moment to muster the words. He blinks slowly, then speaks, his voice barely above a whisper. But the words are what you wanted to hear. My life is yours until yours is no more. Close your eyes, return to the present. Dak'kon is silent. I heard your words, the chaos in my mind became still. I knew myself again. So you got the circle from me?
Updated my journal.
Yes, in knowing its words, I knew myself. But did it save your life, Dak'kon, or did it divide you further once you studied the circle? Dak'kon is silent for a moment, but his blade writhes, as if in pain. He is slow to speak again, and when he does, his voice is somber. It divided me. Then did I save your life, Dak'kon, or did I only add to the pain you already felt? Those words of Zerthamon's, they only seem to divide you more. I see it when you pore over the teachings. Dak'kon is silent. I say that I never saved you, Dak'kon. I only raised you from near death so that you might die again. If you had died at Shracht Lore, then you would have known peace. Your words carry the weight of truth. The death I would have died at Shracht Lore. That would have been the last death. Every day I have lived since is a new death. You need serve me no more, Dak'kon. I never saved your life. I only killed you twice. You owe me nothing. No. Dak'kon's forehead creases in pain, and his eyes stare through you. It is not your word that carries the weight, and your word will not free me. The word that chains me now is mine. The torment is mine. I know in my heart that the chains remain. Words will not free them. Is there any way you can be freed? You must die a final death. Yet your path is not death's path. There is no resolution in this matter. Vow. I swear I will find one, Dak'kon. I will find one that sets you free.
Updated my journal.
Dak'kon's voice becomes ragged, as if he has suddenly become sick. Know that you have added other words to my words. His expression is pained, and his gaze meets yours. Now you have chained us both. I see. There are other things I would know. Tell me of that other me, the incarnation you know. What was he like? Dak'kon? Dak'kon's gaze travels through you, and he falls silent.
Updated my journal.
Know that he was different. Know that the differences were not marked on the skin, nor in the way of the weapon, nor in the attire that cloaked him. Know that he was different in the way of thought and the means he acted upon his thoughts. His will became substance. Know that he saw others and did not see them. He knew only how they could serve him. His heart was treacherous and it was cold, and never did its coldness burn him. Did it ever touch you, Dak'kon? Did he betray you? Dak'kon's blade begins bleeding into a dull, flat black, and you watch as edges like teeth begin sprouting from the edge of the blade. His face clenches and he speaks through his teeth. It is not my will you know of this. Tell me, Dak'kon, did he ever betray you? Know that there were many treacheries. Any treachery upon me was by my hand, no other. Tell me, Dak'kon, what was the treachery? I surrendered my word to him. I surrendered myself. What are you talking about?
Updated my journal.
The people do not allow themselves to be enslaved to another in deed or chains. If we find ourselves in such a cage, we act to free ourselves, even if it means we must endure another cage for a time. You performed a great service for me, in so doing you enslaved me. I acted to free myself. Know that I surrendered my word to myself to act in your name until your death. But I can't die. That was not known to this one. I surrendered my word to him. I surrendered myself. Know that there is now nothing left that I may surrender except my life. Know now that I follow you only so I might die. So this other me exacted a promise from you to serve him until he died. And you didn't know he was immortal? Excellent. Let's move on, slave. Oh. No. What was the service that I gave you that chained you? You saved this one's life. In exchange, your life became mine. Well, I believe we already know that. How did I save your life? So, Dak'kon, it doesn't have to be this way. I can release you. I no longer wish you to be a slave. Consider your debt paid. Yep, alright. So we'll do that again. Alright, you said that I once traveled with 4 others. Who were these others? Let's go down this path. What can you tell me of the 4? The woman was young. She worshipped time, for in her blood she knew of things to come. The archer was a blind man, and he could see things no other one could see. The path of his arrows always led to the heart of an enemy. The familiar and the slave I know little of. See things to come? The woman's name wasn't Dayanara, was it?
Updated my journal.
Know that Dayanara was the name she carried. What do you know of the archer? I know little of him. I know he was a soldier. I know that alcohol had taken a portion of his life. In blindness he had come to know a different sight. In knowing this he had become strong, yet he did not know his own strength. Do you know what his name was? Before Dak'kon can respond, you suddenly know the answer. There is a crawling sensation in the back of your skull, and you feel the name surfacing as if from beneath a great muddy ocean. His name was Zachariah. He was blind, but in blindness he had gained a second sight that allowed him to see things hidden to others. He was an archer, and where his arrows flew, they found the hearts of their targets.
Updated my journal.
Know that Zachariah was the name he carried, and know that his name pierced the hearts of many enemies. Why did you not want to tell me about the 4 on the tattoo? Okay, let's go back to this. The familiar he knows little of. See any way to talk to him about that? I mean, at least describe the familiar to me. Do you know why we were traveling together? Know that the path was known to only you, and it was your will that we not know it. Know that those that walked your path knew only the symbol that bound them. Talk about the symbol. Alright, that's all I wish to know. Let's move on. Alright, let's see if I can use this again. Examine the plate, see if you can puzzle out any new combinations. As you examine the rings of the 7 circles of Zerthamon, you suddenly become aware of a pattern in the way the links are formed. You hook your fingers into the sides of the circle and unlock a hidden segment, pulling the plate forth so you can study it. Read the symbols. Know that a mind divided divides the man. The will and the hand must be as one. In knowing the self, one becomes strong. Continue reading. Know that if you know a course of action to be true in your heart, do not betray it because the path leads to hardship. Know that without suffering, the rising would have never been, and the people would never have come to know themselves. Know that there is nothing in all the worlds that can stand against unity, when all know a single purpose, when all hands are guided by one will, and all act with the same intent, the planes themselves can be moved. A divided mind is one that does not know itself. When it is divided, it cleaves the body in two. When one has a single purpose, the mind is strengthened. In knowing the self, grow strong. Okay, but we will talk with Dak'kon about this new revelation in the next episode. See you then, everyone.